Is that your position?
Yes.
Okay, but you're not consistent with that because there are many things that you believe in that you can't verify with your senses. You cannot verify the causal principle, and that the causal principle is ubiquitous, meaning it's everywhere. You cannot verify with your senses the uniformity of nature. Okay, but you believe in the uniformity of
verify
nature.
the proposition of verificationism with your
Yeah,
senses.
can you verify? Well, hold on a second. Very simple. Do you believe? And is it worthy of belief that the only things that are worthy of belief are those things that are verified by your senses?
I just said that. Yes.
Good. Now, how did you verify that statement with your senses?
By saying it?
No. How did you verify that statement that the only beliefs that are worthy of belief are those that are verified by your senses? How did you verify that with your eyes?
What kind of question is this? Because
No, what I'm showing you is you are presenting what is called classical verificationism. Verificationism was a philosophy in the early part of the 20th century that says only propositions that are verifiable with our senses are worthy of belief. If they're not verifiable with our senses, then they're just simply meaningless and unworthy of being accepted. But that's your position. But you see, that proposition that you believe, the proposition of verificationism, cannot be verified by your senses, can it?
Why not?
Tell me how you verified it.
No, you said you said it can't be verified. Why not?
No, because it's what would you? But how would you do it? I'm saying you can't do it. I'm saying you can't do that. Because they're in order to reason about anything in life, you have to believe in certain things that you can't verify with your senses, even to talk about the meaningfulness of sense perception. That's why you can't do it.
Why not?
Okay. Can you talk about sense perception without presupposing the uniformity of nature? No, you can't. But you can't see the uniformity of nature. It's something that you believe. Nobody can see the listen carefully. Nobody can see the uniformity of nature.
You can't observe it because it's not extended in space. It's a conceptual proposition.
Yeah, nobody can see the ubiquity of the causal principle. You can't see that. But you believe in the universality of the causal principle, that for every event there's a cause. Right? But you can't see that.
Yeah. Okay. So by your logic, do you think we can't have any field of science without God?
Science will either be grounded as intelligible, either in a God world or in a not God world. And the answer is science is untenable in a not God world. In a not God world, nothing is tenable. Now, what I would like to know from you...
Wait, oh no, explain that.
Okay. I will be glad to explain that after we resolve the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is why your position is there is no God. Why is there no God? And please don't repeat what you said originally, because we expose that to be arbitrary on your part. Why don't you believe it? Why is it that you're an atheist?
But there's still no other answer.
Okay, listen to me. You are dodging and delaying, and you are royally embarrassing yourself before everyone in the room.
I don't care about everybody in the room.
You think everyone in the room is so stupid not to realize that you're dodging and delaying?
I don't care what people in the room think.
Good. I want to know why there's no God.
Where is he?
Okay. You've already tried that.
No, I tried that and you couldn't respond. You just kept saying whatever I said over and over again.
Listen to me. One thing I will not put up with are people who lie, not only lie to me, but lie to everyone in the room. We have already covered that.
Are you fantasizing that God's floating around and you can see him someplace?
Okay. Well, first of all, God has manifested himself. God has manifested himself in human history through various individuals, and he is sovereignly recorded, and he's also manifested himself in the person of Jesus Christ. But you already reject that.
You know,
Now, please don't overtalk me. Okay, you already reject the incarnation of Jesus Christ in history. You accept the historicity of other people, but you do not accept the historicity in Jesus Christ's self-identity claims. So the bottom line is here: when you say where is he, we've already exposed that. All you're simply doing is you're giving a slight verbal variant of I don't believe in God because I can't see him. Where is your impersonal absolute, which you will need to believe in order to make sense of anything in your world? Where is your impersonal absolute? And if you dodge the question, I'm going to ban you from the server.
Then ban me, cracker.
Yeah, there we go. Now we revealed what you are. You're a fake. You're a fake. You're a fake. You're a phony, and you're a fraud, just like almost every other atheist that we deal with. Okay, you're a fake, you're phony, and you're a fraud.
Racial slur. That's funny coming from a liberal's mouth. Ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Now, are you white? Are you black?
I'm Italian.
Okay, so why are you calling me a cracker?
Because it's funny.
Disavow. We disavow this
so basically, that's too bad because I like.
You're a racist.
Okay, so you know what? You've just exposed yourself. Okay, you've just exposed yourself as a complete phony.
I can't believe that was live.
All you're doing right now is called shtick.
Okay. You scratch the mask of rationality and it falls off, and there's a bullshitter behind it.
I mean,
check this out. I bet you this won't be on Tom Rabbit's channel.
Oh no! Of course it will. I don't care.
Well, it couldn't be funny because women aren't funny.
Listen. As annoying. Listen. Have you guys seen the latest video where I parachuted in and I royally embarrassed Tom Rabbit? Have you guys seen that video?
Oh, I want to watch that.
Oh, link it.
Why you guys haven't seen that? Well, go on to Canadian Catholic site, and it says where Darth Dawkins. I forget the exact title, but Darth Dawkins humiliates Tom Rabbit. Go watch the video, but just don't eat popcorn while you're watching it. You'll choke to death laughing.
Now, why doesn't Tom Rabbit's atheist in here who can destroy Christianity? I mean, what's with the atheists who don't even understand?
Did I miss the gumball theory breakdown?
No, we haven't done that yet. Which we're gonna do that. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. If we don't get to it tonight, maybe we can get to it tonight. We'll definitely do it tomorrow. But Big J, you just exposed yourself. You're just a phony. I mean, you may be truly an atheist, but you haven't stood tall like an adult woman and to really sincerely defend your atheism. All you've done is trolling responses. Okay.
Okay.
You've said, "Oh, I don't see God." Good. Well, you don't see that what is fundamental is impersonal. You don't see that. So why do you have a double standard?
There's no double standard.
Yeah, it is. Either you will believe in what is fundamental as personal or impersonal. You say, "I don't believe it's personal because I don't see it," but you believe it's impersonal, but you haven't seen it, right?
So
have you seen, real simple, have you seen what is fundamental to reality and that it's impersonal? Have you seen it?
Yes.
Oh, really? What is it?
Atoms.
That's a true answer.
Okay, yeah. No. First of all, atoms. Okay, your fellow atheist scientists don't believe that atoms are fundamental.
Earlier, she said what was impersonal. She hasn't seen it. Now she's saying she has.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know what? So guess what? We're done with you. Listen, we're done with you. You're a fake. You're a phony, and you're a fraud, and you're a troll. Okay.
You're a cult leader, dude.
Well, why am I a cult leader? Well, listen. People come in here. Wait a minute. People come in here. No, there are plenty of people in here who are regulars who do not agree with me on certain theological perspectives. Okay. If I'm a cult leader, what distinctive doctrine do I promulgate that all these people are gravitating to that would be unique to me? Because that's usually what we find in cult leaders. Is there a distinctive doctrine that is unique to my own thinking?
Well, I mean, any kind of doctrine relating to Christianity can be easily twisted into a cult mindset. So.
Okay, is there any distinctive doctrine that I have presented that is not basic or inherent to historic Christianity?
Bro, I have some bad news about historic Christianity.
Okay, so you see, you know
think
what?
That when she says it's a cult, she's using it loosely. She's trying to say it's irrational. You're leading a group of irrational people, is what she's trying to say.
Yeah,
no, I think what people like, people like coming in here, and they like to see somebody strongly defend the Christian faith and to vanquish those people who are lifting up speculations and beliefs and ideas above the knowledge of God. Why is that a cult?
I mean, you would have to.
Darth, I'm waiting for the
more you talk, the more you talk, the more you expose yourself as being an absolute fraud.
You would have to show that it's rational to believe in the not God world in order for you to declare that there's something irrational about.
And another thing is this:
done that.
Why are you making criticisms of myself when in your world, in an atheist world, nothing can be defended to be impossible? And if nothing can be defended to be impossible, then all propositions are of equal value.
When did I say any of that?
Okay, well, that you believe that.
When did I say I believe that?
Okay, is anything impossible?
Sure.
What makes it impossible?
Violating laws of physics that we've.
Oh, okay. So this plurality of laws, is there something that has imposed and sustains it?
Are you asking for like a central force that sustains everything?
Is there something that is absolute, meaning in terms of its essential properties do not change, and that whatever that is, it institutes and secures in perpetuity these laws?
I'm guessing you won't just take reality for an answer, or
that would be a non-answer. That's usually the go-to response of people who are ignorant about metaphysics and don't know what else to say. So if you believe, see, you cannot defend that anything is impossible. You attempted to do so by appealing to laws of nature, which is commonplace. But the point is, why should I believe that, number one, laws of nature are real, given your atheistic metaphysic, right? And that these regularities will continue into the future, that the future will be like the past. In order to believe that something is now impossible, you have to believe that the future will be like the past, okay? Making some things impossible. Well, that means that there's going to have to be something that is absolute, unchanging in and of itself, its essential properties, and that institutes and secures in perpetuity or in continuation these laws. Is there something that does that?
Science? Like, what are you? Okay, so
I want to know what institutes and secures the perpetuity of these so-called laws.
That they stick around permanently, because if they don't stick around, then they could change.
Yeah, and the so-called what you think are regularities could simply be the illusion of it. So if there's something absolute that is imposing that regularity and securing it, then it would not be the illusion of regularity.
He's asking for an ontological source.
Okay, so all I want to know is, you say the laws of nature as to what makes some things impossible. Good. What is it that's absolute, that institutes, imposes, and secures their continuation so that some things can be impossible?
Sorry, I was responding to somebody. What did you say?
What is it that imposes laws of nature?
Themselves.
Okay, well here's the problem. Have you seen that?
Yes.
When did you see that? Have you been around forever?
I've been around for.
Are the laws of nature eternal?
To all recorded knowledge, yes.
No. Well, to all recorded. Why do you lie?
But is that a lie?
Why are you lying to me?
You mean for a couple thousand years?
You
That recorded knowledge?
right
Okay,
now.
so all I want to know is, I don't even care. Even if you could appeal to a long chain of writings in history that they believe, since it's from the starting point of recorded history that they believed in the uniformity of nature, that still would not entail that the laws of nature are eternal. Are you eternal, and have you seen that the laws of nature are eternal?
Okay, hold on.
Look, if you listen to me. If you dodge one more time, you see, I said I was going to ban you earlier, but I decided to show everyone in the room what a big fat liar and colossal fool you are. Now, if you dodge another question, there's not going to be any more mercy shown. Now, are you eternal, and have you seen that the laws of nature have been around for eternity?
No.
Okay, so you believe something without saying it?
But I still see it.
Okay, answer my question. Have you seen that the laws of nature have been around for eternity?
Okay, I keep getting DMs. Can you turn lead into gold, dude?
Okay, listen to me carefully. That's strike number 2.
I don't care.
Strike 3. Okay, bye.
She can't answer the question.
Now you're banned because you are a damnable liar. Okay, there she go, and she's gone. And we just did another atheist helpline troll abortion. She's now been aborted from Atheist Helpline because we're pro-choice in here.
Well done, Darth Dawkins. Well done.
Choice. Oh, it's brutal.
Aziz, why are you a Muslim?
Don't you love it? Don't you love it? These people are fakes, phonies, and frauds. Okay? She objected to me using the word fag of her fellow heckling atheist, and yet she came in here and was lying through her teeth.
Called you a cracker. Called us a cult. Come on, man. Their conduct is clearly impeccable. We can't use.
I thought it was against the progressive narrative to.
Yeah, it was.
Slurs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is.
Welcome to the room, Gracchus. Could you tell us why you're an atheist? Well, you know what? I thought my voice is sexy. I guess it really scares some people away, you know? Maybe it's kind of like Creepy Joe touching children, you know?
He was deep into his Dune novel. Didn't you see his status? Reading Dune.
Atheists are fakes, they're phonies and fraud. Oh, I don't believe in God because I can't see him. Then we find out they believe in all sorts of things that they can't see. Oops. Fakes, phonies, and frauds.
Yep. Another one bit the dust.
They don't have logic and reasoning on their side at all. They just don't have it.
But you know what? We got to give the devil his due. At least they have bigger balls than Matt Dillahunty and Eric Per Murphy, and they still don't hide behind a microphone where they can mute people indiscriminately, you know, behind their show, thinking they're big men on campus.
I don't know which is more applaudable, though, Darth. Sort of when you know your line, sort of hiding and ducking your head, or like just being bold and just sitting out there and saying it.
You know, many of us theists who try to defend the faith, we do want to go into the lion's den, but we also want to be at least treated fairly, right? More theists would call into these dumb atheist shows, but they have such a track record. And I'm not just talking about the atheist clown car convention in Austin, you know, exemplified by, you know, Matt Dillabloviator, Eric Per Murphy, and the rest of the clown car posse. You know, we would call into these shows, but the level of abuse that we get is just staggering. Look what happened with Truth Speller yesterday.
And by the way, nobody can question that she was treated absolutely fairly in here.
Yeah, I treated her fairly, but I treated her like a grown-up too, you know?
Yikes.
She got exposed for the fraud that she is. And guess what? The reason why she doesn't believe in God is because she has a guilty conscience. She doesn't want there to be a God. Right? It's that simple. You know, atheists laugh and say, "Oh, they say we don't believe in God, so we don't want to believe in God." Well, yeah, that's right. So then give me your real reason you don't believe in God. And then when they give the real reason, and then we look at it, we look at what their real reason is, it just evaporates. It disappears.
Darth, I think it's a little more nefarious than that. I think they want to be God.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what Adam and Eve did in the garden. Okay, when we exercise autonomy, which is human thinking and behaving that's inconsistent with the mind of God, that's autonomy.
Yes, and if you go to the core of all these people pushing for communism now, at the core of it, it's them wanting to be in absolute control, spitting in the face of God, saying, "I can do it better."
How many people think that Matt de Bloviator would look like an absolute clown if he didn't have the ability to mute people and there was a level playing field? Okay, right. And the only people that he will debate against are people who, with rare exceptions, are just evidentialists. So he can just bloviate his way out of the debate.
But when he's talking to someone sharp, he does look like a fool. I mean, look at how foolish he looked in front of Tyler Vela. Tyler Vela ripped this dude apart.
Are you talking? Well, did Tyler Vela interact with Matt de Bloviator?
Yes, he did.
All right, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, you gotta watch it, man. It's brutal.
Tomorrow. I'll watch that tomorrow.
People.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? Yeah. Isn't it interesting? They banned me from calling in, but then out of the blue, they send one of their flunkies in here to call in, you know, which, you know, they obviously have some recording that they're trying to set me up with. Not that I'm afraid of calling in, but I would be glad to call in as long as I can be guaranteed I'm not going to be over talking and muted. But you know that they're not going to agree to that. Okay,
I'm also very upset, Darth. I'm very upset with you.
What are you upset about?
I was really expecting robes and Kool-Aid. I'm gonna have to leave this cult. I'm a little annoyed. Preparing my wife activities with you.
Yeah, I was practicing that chant all week. I thought we were gonna do it right along with you. Come on.
Well, you know what? I do have an announcement to make. And I was trying to wait for a more prestigious moment, but I guess I'll let it out of the bag right now. We're changing the name of the server. We're changing the name of the VC, and starting tomorrow, we will be starting Darth Dawkins International Ministries. Okay.
I hear there's some massage parlors looking for new ownership. Oh, geez. All right.
Oh, gosh. A cult.
See you later.
Oh, gosh. Hey, send my... he left.
She was just throwing out whatever vitriol she could think of.
Dude, his profile photo was that of a neck beard. I wouldn't put too much stock into whatever that dude says.
Who, Bruce?
Yeah.
No, well, he's not so bad. At least it allows me some communication between him and Pangburn, who's another girly man. Here's a guy who tries to pretend like he's a big man on campus atheist, but he won't come in here even with the guarantee of absolute strict moderation. He won't do it. Okay. All right. So unless anyone has a topic you want to talk about, I thought we might go to Matt de Bloviator giving his gumball analogy here. This ought to be fun.
Oh, yeah. Let's watch this.
Okay.
Are you going to play a video?
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
I do have a warning. Okay, before I click on screen share, we're going to see Dan Barker, who is very facially challenged. And if you're squeamish, then I would ask you to turn down the brightness on your
Trigger warning.
Yeah. Dan, Dan is a hardworking atheist, but he is facially challenged. So if you're weak of stomach,
even if you're strong of stomach, turn off your monitor.
Yeah, okay. He is facially challenged, but we'll go ahead anyway. And as Jackie Gleason would say, and here we go.
That about consciousness or whatever. So we're talking with Matt Dillahunty. He was the host for 15 years.
By the way, as we do this critique, anyone, as long as you're not a troll, anyone in the room is free, as long as you're not an idiot, okay, is free to interject pro and con anything we're saying. All right, we want an open forum discussion as that, but no trolls and people just being stupid like children. I don't want to hear that. But if you want to make a comment pro or con anything that's being said, we're welcome to.
Years with Atheist Experience, now has a program called The Hang Up. We'll be right back after this break.
Don't you love that? Free thought matters.
The Hang Up, a fitting name.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan.
Hi, Ron. How's it going? Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Bashed atheist, and I'm alarmed by the intrusions of religion into our secular government. That's why I'm asking you to support the Freedom from Religion Foundation, the nation's largest and most effective association of atheists and
My
agnostics.
goodness, this guy is nothing like his father at all.
Well, actually, he does. He is a perfect combination of Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan.
No way. This is the son of Ronald Reagan?
Yes. But if you know what Nancy Davis looked like, he is a carbon composite of the two of them.
How could Ronald Reagan create a heathen?
But Ronald Reagan didn't.
Remember, Reagan used to go. They would ask him a question at the press conference, and he would go, "Well."
Ronald Reagan didn't hate religion, though, at all.
No, I don't think he was a believer, but he was not a nutbag. Look, Ronald Reagan was married to Jane Wyman. They had a daughter, and then they adopted Michael Reagan, who's a conservative. Then when they got divorced, Ronald Reagan married Nancy Davis, who became Nancy Reagan, and then they had two biological children, both Ron Reagan Jr., lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell, and Patty Davis. Both of these two are radical, crazy leftists. But he still has a great head of hair like his father did.
State and church separate, just like our founding fathers intended. Please support the Freedom from Religion Foundation.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Hey, Ron Reagan, get your asbestos suit ready because it's coming.
Wait a second. Wow, that I never saw that him say that. I thought you were making that line up. Wow.
No, not at all.
What an idiot. Why would he come on? Oh God, I'm sorry. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Wow. Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Ron, could we have that one more time? It just sounds so good.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Oh,
man, not Darth Dawkins, but Brojo's gonna lose his breath. Goodness.
By the way, you notice how that bimbo called me a cult leader. Maybe there's so many people in here on a regular day because they just find all of the interaction entertaining and informative, right?
Yeah, this room is packed for a reason, and it's packed nightly.
How does that make me a cult leader? Why? Because people enjoy listening. By the way, it's not just me. There are other Christians in here too that present an intelligent case for Christianity. People enjoy this stuff. See, that's all they've got left is to throw mud and to smear. That's all they've got.
Well, what type of cracker are you? A saltine or a Triscuit?
Bye, man. You're gone. See you later, man. Okay, there we go. Look, he's gone. Okay, I just kicked him from the server. He's gone.
Oh man, that was good, man.
I just kicked him from the server. He's gone.
Biscuit?
Bye.
I'm an out of the closet atheist. Wow, these guys are such actors.
They're out of the closet. Well, that's because a lot of them are homosexuals, and they're used to this idea that they're coming out of the closet as homosexuals. So they want to say, "I'm coming out of the closet, atheist." But just think, for all these decades, the atheists have been quivering in fear in their closet. Not wanting to come out going, "I'm an atheist. I'm proud, lifelong atheist, not afraid of
I'm an
burning in
atheist.
hell."
I'm glad I got that off my chest.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Okay. I wonder, it's interesting. Eric Permboy Murphy sent one of his flunkies in here yesterday. Some of you know about it, some of you don't. He's one of the talking heads, and he's also a trained lawyer to come in here to go, you can call in to talk heathens today. We'll take your call. I wonder if Eric Murphy has big boy pants to go to a neutral venue, okay, where he can't mute people like he did yesterday, okay? But maybe he doesn't have those big boy pants. All right, let's continue.
Of the closet atheist, meaning I don't really care what you believe, and I don't really think that
this guy looks like this guy. Look, he's an FFRF staff, Freedom from Religion Foundation. This guy looks like he's about to have a nervous breakdown. Watch this. Let me play that.
The nation's largest and most effective association of atheists and agnostics, working to keep state and church separate,
Not
just like our
afraid
founding
of
fathers
burning in
intended.
hell.
Please support the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
That's where you're going.
And he says it with such a smooth voice too, doesn't he? It's so smooth.
Oh, he's got a great. You know what? He would make it do great for voiceovers for commercials. All right. So, all right, let's get to this guy. Sorry, I recorded it back too far, but just this is the first vibe I get from this guy. The guy looks like he's about ready to have a nervous breakdown.
Of the closet atheist, meaning I don't really care what you believe, and I don't really think that you should care what I believe. I was raised in South Dakota in a strict.
I wonder if he took his meds that day. What do you think?
Yeah, there's something off about this cat.
family.
Then why are you in this video then?
He came out of the closet. He was raised by people who went to church. They made him believe in God.
Oh God, these people are
don't you love how atheists embellish, their background? And they go, "I was deconverted. I came out of religion."
Yeah, this faggot definitely doesn't pass the physiognomy check.
And really, let's think about this. What the hell does that even mean to be free from religion?
Oh my gosh!
I mean, that means he can be a faggot without being judged.
Now, how many of these atheists can be said to be bona fide being raised in something that we would consider a cult? Okay, most of these people are just raised in Bible-believing communities or some type of fundamentalist background, and they talk about it as though they were in a real cult. They talk about deconversion, freedom from religion. They came out of it. They came out of the closet.
Just like everything else, it's projection because the gays are in a cult.
Yeah. Does anybody think that these guys, these atheists, are drama queens? Okay, they're just absolute drama queens. We're recovering from religion. Yeah, you get. Oh, what happened to Joe? Oh, he was in a car accident. He broke both his legs, and he's in recovery. Oh, what happened to Susie? Oh, well, she had stage 2 cancer, but she's in recovery. Well, what happened to Joe over there? Oh, he's recovering from religion.
He was raised in a Christian family.
What about
he's recovering from religion?
What about what about atheists who are Buddhists? You want to be free from that too?
Oh God!
You don't have to be You don't have to be a theist to be a religious person. In fact, you can't escape from religion no matter how hard you try.
Notice what they don't do. They don't tell us cogently why there's no God. But what they do tell us is their personal bio. I'm recovering from religion.
Yeah.
I'm coming out of the closet. I deconverted. It's all this drama queen stuff, right? We don't hear any cogent reasoning why there's no God.
It's a lot. In and of itself, religion is not the problem, because if that's the case, do they have a problem with a Satanist? No, they don't talk about Satanists. They talk about Christians. Are Satanists not religious? Yes, they are, definitionally speaking. So they only are concerned with certain types of religion. So why don't they just be honest about it?
I just want to take a break for station identification and thank each and every one of you for joining our cult meeting tonight, right? Because after all, everyone knows that this is a cult setting here.
What's your preferred tea, so we can all drink the same Kool-Aid?
The preferred Kool-Aid. I'm a big fan of fruit punch. I'm a big fan of fruit punch. But if I had the commercial queued up, I would have that big jar of Kool-Aid go, oh yeah.
I was hoping it was Country Time Lemonade, but I'll take that.
Country Time. All right, so let's get back to this nervous wreck of the guy who came out of the closet here.
I was an altar boy. I served mass.
Oh my God! He was an altar boy, and he's recovered from that. He served mass. Just think of the deconversion. Just think of the shakes that he came out when he was deconverted from being an altar boy.
This guy's a big man with the atheist street cred. The big man on campus. Step aside, atheist.
Yeah, he's come off the altar, and now he's humble.
Okay, how many times have you regulars, that is you regular cult members, right? How many times have you heard me say to atheists come in here, I'll say, tell me why you're an atheist. And then they start telling me their biography.
He broke free from religion, and now he sees he broke free from religion, and now he sees the darkness. I say that on purpose.
Yeah.
He doesn't see the light.
Now, granted, it is true that within the Catholic Church and elsewhere, there are people who take advantage of little children. But I doubt he's going to claim that he was mistreated as a child. So let's listen to another atheist.
Aside from the mistreatment that comes from being raised religious.
Yeah. So let's hear some more bio-drama queen stuff about how they deconverted.
The priest gave us this little card that said, in case of accident, please call a priest. I don't really like that idea anymore since I left.
I don't like that.
I don't like.
Not really.
I don't like that anymore. I mean,
Not really
I'll be the first one to criticize the Catholic Church on its false gospel and its false teachings. But here's somebody who's working as a clergyman, where if somebody has a crisis, it's here, call this person. He'll come, no charge. He'll try to minister to you. I don't agree with their doctrine, but at least they're trying to help people. Okay, and he's finding fault with this. These people are so mashugana. It isn't funny. Oh gosh.
I left the church about 40 years ago. Now, if
you left 40 years ago and you're still whining about it?
Yeah, you've been whining about this for over 40 years.
He's probably let it all out.
Dawkins, There's no way this could get any worse.
He's still going through withdrawals. This is how severe the problem is.
Don't
There's no way
underestimate
this
these.
could be more cringy.
Booper,
It's
don't
like
He left the
underestimate these
Catholic
clowns.
Church. He left the Catholic Church not quite a half century ago, and he's still whining about it. What did they do to you? Were you molested? Oh my gosh! By the way, does this guy sound a little light in the loafers? Sounds that way to me.
If you find me alongside the road after an accident, please call an ambulance and an EMT.
Thank you.
What the hell was that?
That was a jab saying that if we just pray for him as a substitute of medical attention, which is an outright lie.
Wait a minute. What the hell was that? What the hell was that? If
No,
you're
no.
in an
Like they call it a
accident,
priest.
called an ambulance or an EMT? Yeah, well, who wouldn't?
Yeah,
Hey,
that was the whole.
Darth. Hey, Darth. You need
That
to
was
use
the whole
dark
point.
mode on your browser. It'll save your eyes, bruv.
The whole point of that was to attack people who would pray about the situation, as if he thinks the people who would pray about the situation will do that in lieu of calling an EMT. You
Now,
moron!
could you go back? I missed the commentary from.
I think it was in contrast to calling a priest. Don't call a priest. Call an ambulance.
Okay, we'll play this again. Okay. I want to tell you something. Watching atheist videos is some of the funniest stuff that I've ever seen. It's so funny. They're so dumb. They're such drama queens. It's such garbage.
I mean, it's endless material.
Oh, listen, this has recently become popular in here. People keep on saying, darn, let's do a video commentary. Yeah, because there's so much material to work with. Wow. It's too bad that we can't upload this to YouTube, but we'd be hit with copyright violations. But at least we can do it live, which is fun.
When does Matt did a cunty? Come on.
No, it's not.
Come on.
No, don't do that again, okay? All right, please. We have to draw some lines here. I'm not opposed to some ridicule and insult, but don't do that, okay?
And I'm an out of the closet apatheist.
I'm the out of the closet apatheist. Well, I think you should become out of the closet for something else too.
Meaning, I don't really care what you believe, and I don't really think that you should care what I believe.
Good. I don't care what you believe. If you don't care, if we shouldn't care about what you're believing, then why are you filming this? Okay.
Exactly. Why are you telling us?
If we shouldn't care about what you believe, why are you doing this?
What if someone believes in having sex with children? Should they not care about that?
Oh my gosh.
I was raised in
remember
South
what that
Dakota.
Dillahunty said about believing that. I hate to keep throwing that out there, but he did say
Oh gosh.
Does he really believe we should call an ambulance at the end?
Oh my gosh. If you're in an accident, don't call a priest, call an ambulance. Yeah, well, why couldn't you do both?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is
all psychotomy.
Listen. I don't have a problem other than the doctrinal dispute that they have a false gospel. If they're trying to help somebody who's in an emotional crisis or situation, and they're one human being trying to comfort another human being, okay, fine. Okay, so they're a priest. We disagree with that. But I don't. I mean, do you see how crazy they are? When the priest made these cards, if somebody has an emergency, the priest is not saying call him in lieu of calling an ambulance. He's talking about certain family members who may be at a point of an emotional crisis, and they need the support of somebody who's dealt with family crises before. And they're finding fault with this.
These people like this are so scummy and pretentious. People like this clown literally believe that the only thing they'll do, and practically speaking, is just call a priest. No ambulance. Whoever does that in their life? No,
How much?
I guarantee he's never seen anybody do that, religious or not. Come on, you moron.
Yeah.
Talk about a straw man. Yeah.
And by the way, there's a high number of homosexuals that are atheists. Okay.
In a strict Catholic family, I was an altar boy. I served mass.
Oh,
a lot of
strict Catholic family, strict.
Oh, strict.
He made sure to put emphasis on that.
Did you say your Hail Marys? No, Daddy. What?
Yeah, this is the atheist to homosexual
Sundays
pipeline.
twice.
Yeah.
The priest gave us this little card that said, "In case of accident, please call a priest." I don't really like that idea anymore.
I don't like that. I don't like it.
More since I left the church about 40 years ago. Now, if you find me alongside the road after an accident, please call an ambulance and an EMT.
Wow.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny?
Go ahead.
You know what's hysterical? Why in the world would they publish this segment?
I know.
Why?
And
what
there
was
are some
going
people
through
out
their
there-
mind?
And you know what?
I mean, do they
I
really
could guarantee. I could
people
guarantee
are
that.
calling priests when they're in an emergency over
I
the
can-
ambulance. Oh
I
my
can
goodness.
guarantee he took what that card or the intention of what was on that card completely out of context. I can guarantee it.
That guy seems like a nervous wreck, right?
Well, Darth, you have to invite him over for coffee.
I get the idea that he's probably a member of the was it the LGBT the LGBTQ community.
Hey, Brojo's
you for
gone.
watching Free
Brojo's
Thought
out of there.
See, Brojo's not here because it's a cult. He's just here is because we are truly finding, humor in the absolute stupidity of these atheist videos. Okay, it's all right. Let's continue.
If you find me alongside the road after,
If we find you on the side of the road, you should have a bumper sticker. If you find this car crashed and I'm disabled and bleeding, call the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Can imagine he's in a car crash and he's bleeding profusely and the life is just ebbing out of him. And the police officer said, "Is there anyone you want us to call?" He goes, "Yes, call Dan Barker at the Freedom from Religion Foundation."
after an accident, please call an ambulance and an EMT.
Thank you for watching Free Thought Matters. You can find more content by the Freedom from Religion
Thought
Foundation
Matters?
at our
Yeah, this is what their
And they
stupid show
ended
is
it
called.
like that. These guys are. Why did they end the segment like that?
That was just
Wow.
terrible.
You
Just
know,
terrible.
for a Christian, for a society that, from their perspective, is dominated by Christianity, they have a whole lot of freedom to speak and talk.
This is lame.
Like
At our
who is
website,
suppressing their voices? Who?
Right. Okay. He's got, you know what? It never dawned on me. There's such a wealth of material for us here to play.
ffrf.org. Follow FFRF on Facebook and you'll get
In science we trust.
Oh my goodness. The psychotic nature of these people, man. They take everything that's associated with religion or Christianity and just replace it with the non-theist outlook. That's all they do. They just replace everything, take God out of it, and put non-personal context into it.
You'll get notifications
I love
about all
love
of our
that that's
content,
a straw man,
including
even
whenever
the
we go
graphic.
live on FFRF's Ask an Atheist. FFRF is also on YouTube, where all of our programs, including this show,
That's why we're watching.
Look at
And
how
our
they're
weekly news.
advertising. They literally want to spread atheism around. Look at that.
sites are available to watch
And they
anytime.
just simply like belief, right?
again for watching, and we'll see you on the web.
Wow, it's a
They
good
even
thing
got the
they
nice
really
jazzy
spared us.
music and everything. Come on.
Free thought.
When they say free from what?
Back to Free Thought Matters. We're continuing our conversation with the preeminent debater and
Matt, the preeminent bloviator, the man himself, Matt Dillabloviator.
skeptic and humanist, Matt Dillahunty. And Matt, let's look at a little bit of you debating a Muslim who was asking about consciousness. Maybe you can tell me what show this was, if it's Atheist Experience or not. This is Matt on one of his TV shows.
Why do you think that consciousness comes from consciousness? Because I see no evidence of that at all.
Okay, you're right. For me, the notion of a creator of everything makes the most logical sense. So if I'm using logic, that conclusion would make the most sense. And
no, sir. Hang on, Muhammad. Saying that you are
He didn't let him break it
God
down.
makes the most logical.
He didn't let him try to break it down at all. He just immediately interjected.
What did he say? He sees
This
no
guy-
reason to believe that consciousness comes from what's conscious. Is that what he says? So he believes consciousness comes from
The guy on the
not
left here
conscious?
in the Hawaiian suit, shirt. There, you see the guy with the
He looks like
Hawaiian
Peter
shirt.
Griffin.
He looks like a real live human being that escaped from The Simpsons.
Peter Griffin.
Logical sense, and then declaring that you're going to be logical based on that is actually fallacious and has nothing to do with logic. You are inventing a circular
What's the
argument by
fallacy?
beginning with.
No, he's not being circular. What he's saying is, since he believes that either the only or possibly from his point of view, the best explanation for human rationality and consciousness is that what is fundamental is consciousness and a mind, who then institutes a world and then imbues certain agents with that rationality. Right? Or I should say he imbues certain creatures with rationality, so that consciousness begets consciousness, right? But Matt Dillabloviator would have you believe that non-consciousness begets consciousness. Well, how do you explain that rational consciousness, not just sentience, but rational consciousness, emerges from either a purely deterministic world or a world that is infused with just spontaneous chance occurrences? In either scenario, consciousness is not coherent, cannot be grounded, right? But because you see, because Matt Dillabloviator devoutly believes that he's a conscious agent, and that, and since he devoutly believes that there is no God, but that he also believes that he's consciousness, then he believes without rationale, without evidence, that human consciousness somehow magically emerges from the non-conscious. Well, what's your demonstration for that? You know how Matt Dillabloviator always says, prove it, demonstrate it. Does he make a case that consciousness can and does emerge from material things? No, you won't hear that.
If I believe that this is the best explanation logically, and therefore logically I will continue to go forward with that. I'm asking, why are you convinced that consciousness comes from consciousness? What is the evidence that consciousness comes from consciousness?
Okay, so things tend to beget themselves. Frogs beget frogs. Humans beget humans. So is it a far stretch of logic to say that consciousness begets consciousness? Oh gosh.
Okay. If you're asking for, well, I can't give you any concrete proof evidence. The only thing I can give you is the probability that I believe in the other alternative. It doesn't add up to me. If that
I'm not interested at all, Muhammad, or so to be more specific, you keep telling me what you believe. I'm interested in why you believe it. What is the
good? I'm interested in Matt the Obliviator, why you believe in a purely deterministic world. How you could be a conscious, rational being. How can you demonstrate that? Right? Does anybody think that Matt the Obliviator can answer that question?
No, because he's a
No.
moron.
No. If we apply the same questions that he puts to his callers, he would fold like a cheap lawn chair. Right?
The reason you believe it, not what you believe. And every time you...
What is your reason? Okay. What is your reason, Matt the Obliviator, to believe that consciousness will emerge from non-consciousness? What's your reason to believe that? Other than just saying, well, it just did. What's your reason to believe that? Boris, do you think that Matt the Obliviator, you're our resident atheist whipping boy. Do you think that Matt the Obliviator could explain his reason for believing that conscious human agency can emerge from non-consciousness? Do you think he could answer that, Boris?
Don't know.
Yeah, you know damn well you do know. Okay, that was a lie. He couldn't. All he would sit there and say, oh, it's an emergent property of evolution.
When you try to go to a why, you've come up with another what.
That's Matt Dillahunty. I like how you keep...
Oh, that was wonderful, Matt. That was, oh boy, you really told him, Matt. Oh, yeah, that was just charming.
He didn't even let him flush that out. He didn't say, "Can you unpack that for me, please?"
Yeah.
That's why
He
I
just
don't
started
trust him,
talking.
because you have to have a neutral playing field.
Because they want to turn the corner, right, without really explaining in depth. So that was the atheist experience.
He didn't let him explain it in depth. He just cut him off and just started talking.
Yeah. You remember in the Soviet Union, they promised freedom of religion, but they used their power to totally rip the freedom of religion away. You know, he promises people will be able to call in and talk freely, but they don't do that. Okay? It's the same totalitarian control.
Yeah, that was atheist experience from this year, probably within the last couple of months. By the way, I need to correct something. While I am flattered every time Dan talks about me as a debater, Dan has done a gazillion more debates and probably better debates than I will. I'm trying to catch up to you is what I'm doing.
Well, I don't know if the number matters. I've actually done 137
Wow, look
public
at the atheist
formal
flattery.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Moderated debates.
And if you ever listen to Dan Barker's debates, they're just atrociously bad. They're just so filled with non sequiturs and cliches. It isn't funny, right? Here's a guy who says atheism is not the denial of God. Atheism is just a lack of belief in God. Yet he has been promoting placards from the Freedom from Religious Foundation for years, if not decades, asserting there is no God. I mean, this guy talks out of both sides of his mouth.
Not counting like TV shows in that. And I don't know if I'm any better, but you know what happens? You just get a lot more relaxed. And I think that goes a long way. I think because you've done it so many times,
he should do, you know what? He should do a commercial spot like Ron Reagan. Hi, I'm Dan Barker, atheist, and I am absolutely relaxed on my way to hell.
Sort of more, you don't have to prove everything in one event. You don't have to hit a home run on every, you can just let the event happen, and it's a lot more fun. I think you would say the same thing.
When does he hit home runs?
Yeah. I completely agree. It's, when somebody says, hey, would you come and do a debate on this? Or how do you prepare for the TV show? What do you mean, how do I prepare? I've been doing it for...
Yeah, he prepares it by, he has a long practice history of being an a-hole.
15 years, and 10 years prior, well, a good chunk of years, but prior to that, with the upbringing and study, so that I know how I got from A to B, and I can maybe...
The upbringing study. Why is it that we never him really go into detail about his bio here, his upbringing and studying? Remember how he said he was planning on being a pastor, did he ever formally enroll? How come we don't know about that? Did he ever? To what extent did he formally enroll in pastoral training? Did he go to Bible college? Did he go to seminary? No,
He was a youth group leader, which is meaningless.
When it comes to their bio, they're always being drama queens, even when they just mention it for a few seconds.
Maybe help somebody else get that from A to B as well.
So what is the
Wow!
gumball
Did you hear the
analogy?
compassion of Matt? Not of Matt. Excuse me. Sorry about that, man. Matt Dillahunty. He's doing it to help other people get from A to B as well. Wow, what a kind heart he has.
Trying to help them get from A to B. Okay, so now when people ask me from now on, why do I trash on atheism and other false religions, is because I'm trying to get them from A to B.
This is something that Tracy and I came up with, because whenever we'd say, "Hey, I don't believe in your God," they would immediately demand that we prove that God doesn't exist. And our point.
Okay, here we go, folks. Are you ready? Here comes the lacktheism. Okay, this is the coward. This is the absolute cowards that the modern atheists are. Okay, Madeline Murray O'Hare, peace be upon her, may her soul rot in hell forever, would slap these people upside their heads for claiming to be atheists without asserting that there is no God, right? She would just slap them right upside their head. She would do it, but she was blown away. She was murdered. So what a fitting ending to an atheist career, right? But here we go. Here comes the lacktheism. Here comes the definitional argument for God, that atheism is just a lack of belief.
Our point was, no, I'm saying I'm not convinced.
Now, does anybody think that Matt Dillahunty is just simply not convinced? That is, he's neutral toward God. Boris, you're one of our resident atheists. Do you think Matt Dillahunty is just simply not convinced, or do you think he believes that there is, in fact, no God? What do you think, Boris?
I think he's not convinced.
Okay. Do you think that he believes that there is no God? Because you see, everyone who emphatically denies the existence of God, they're not convinced there's a God, right?
No, he uses the gumball thing.
No. Okay, Boris. Is it conceivable in your mind that because they feel they cannot defend the falsity of God, that they hide behind vernacular of saying, I'm not convinced, rather than defend what they really believe is that he believes there's no God? Okay? So
Well,
so let me ask you.
Doesn't believe. Go ahead.
Okay. No. We're not talking about that. Okay? Everybody who is sane on this planet has a lack of belief in some gods. Everybody does. Because if you didn't, you'd be insane. So the issue is not that you lack belief in some gods. This is the old bait and switch. Oh, you're an atheist too. I just believe in one more or less God than you do. That is childish reasoning. And we hear the best of the atheist debaters who spew that garbage. Now, I want to ask you a question. If a proposition is put forward, you can affirm it, you can deny it, or you can withhold judgment because you're undecided, unconvinced, and you're neutral. Is there a fourth option, Boris?
No.
Okay, so do you think that Matt Dillahunty is neutral in his own mind toward the existence of God?
Well, he's...
You lagged out.
Oh, sorry.
Do you think he is neutral toward the idea that what is fundamental to reality is a personal mind and a creator? Do you think he's neutral toward that?
I don't know about that, God, but I do know that...
No. Listen to me. That definition would be a minimalist definition that would apply to all creator God concepts. Do you think that he is neutral toward the idea that whatever is metaphysically first and what is fundamental metaphysically, do you think he's neutral that it's a mind?
I don't know that one specific.
Oh, but listen, Pinocchio, your nose is growing.
No, I don't know. Why would I just make
Oh,
something
I
up?
don't know.
Oh,
I don't
come
know.
on, Darth.
You would have us believe so you don't know whether he's neutral or not?
He's neutral on some things.
That's not what we're talking about. You bait and switch what you just did right there.
No, I'm not switching. I'm
Bait
trying to
and switch.
explain
Is
what I
he
know.
neutral? Listen, is Matt? Does Matt positively believe in your knowledge of him? Do you think he positively believes that what is fundamental to reality? Does he positively believe that it's a mind, God?
No, he doesn't believe that.
No. Okay. Do you think that he positively believes that what is fundamentally is not a mind?
Nah, he's not. He doesn't like positively. He's not.
Oh, so he's
you know that
neutral.
yourself,
So Matt is he's neutral as to whether there is or is not a God. Is that correct?
Yeah, certain gods. Yeah.
No. Again, a more bait and switch. Okay. What we're talking about here is the minimalist definition that we can have for a creator God. Is he neutral toward that in your view?
Yeah, he is. He says he is.
Do you okay, let everyone ready for a good laugh here? Okay. Do you actually believe that he's neutral toward the existence of a creator God? Do you think he's neutral? Do you believe that?
He says he is. So.
No. Do you? That's not an answer to my question. Do you sincerely and truly believe that in his heart he's neutral toward the idea that what is fundamental is a mind God? Do you think he's neutral?
Don't know. I don't know what's in his heart.
You know what? You are a real piece of work. Let's continue with another liar, Matt the Bloviator.
And so we came up with Tracy and I put together a courtroom analogy that worked but had problems. But if you were like in a gumball guessing contest, you could try and find the number.
Now remember, he just presented this several days ago, so this isn't from years ago, folks. This is from several days ago. Okay. So here we go.
But what if all they asked was, is there an even number or an odd number of gumballs in there? We know that it must be one of those two. And so if knowing that there's only two options, if somebody held up that jar of gumballs and said, do you believe that the number is even? And you say no, that doesn't mean that you believe it's odd. So the fact.
Okay. This man just did a metaphorical concrete faceplant. Okay. What he just did is an absolute category error, because you can be neutral about gumballs, but when it comes to God, who is defined as being metaphysically first and the source of all possibility, you can't be neutral toward that. Now, this guy is looked to by atheists as a great debater, a great reasoner. Does everybody really see how childish his reasoning is here? Right? He's made an out-and-out category error, right? Gumballs are simply a state of affairs that are not what is transcendentally necessary nor transcendentally primary or first. Okay? So when you don't believe in God and you say, oh, well, I'm just unconvinced, then whatever facts that you spew, it means that you do not believe that they necessitate God. Right? That your facts in question do not necessitate referencing dependence or derivation from God. So therefore you believe that those facts are independent of God. They're independent of the necessity of referencing God. So this is a flat-out a category error.
The fact that you agree that there's only two options doesn't mean that you're not being convinced of one means you are.
Now, you'll notice that he isn't defending that he's neutral toward God. He's defending that he's neutral toward even an odd-numbered gumballs. Everybody see this little game he's playing? Anybody care to make a comment? I don't want to be the only person speaking here.
No, notice he's not going to quote the words of Jesus going, you're either for him or against him. There's no middle ground with Jesus, but he's going to ignore the Christians he's dealt with, at least the Christian worldview, which he mainly disagrees with.
Yeah, I mean, so he's talking about gumballs. Why don't you tell us how you're neutral toward God? Because then everybody would laugh.
You are necessarily convinced of the other.
So you could say no to both questions. Do you believe it's even? Do you believe it's...
Does anybody with a straight face believe that Dan Barker is neutral toward God? I have heard Dan Barker myself. He says, you want to know why there's no God? He says, I'll show you why there's no God. Just go into any children's cancer ward in a hospital. He says, that's how you'll know there's no God. You know what? I am so sick of these pathological liars. Okay, these atheists. They try to present themselves as being neutral when everybody knows they're not neutral toward God. This is just deception of the highest order.
If it's odd.
Yeah, you could say, I am not yet convinced of either. But if we're talking about something like atheism and theism, there's a proposition, some God exists. If you are convinced of that, you're a theist. If you're not convinced, you're an atheist or a non-theist, or I don't care, pick whatever label you want for it. I'm not that concerned about the labels. But if I say I'm not a theist.
You see what he's done? Okay. He's waving the white flag, folks. Madeline Murray O'Hare, peace be upon her, may her soul rot in hell forever, would slap him upside his head, right? For actually co-opting the agnostic position. Oh, we're unconvinced. We're not affirming or denying. Oh, we don't know. Right? The atheists in the last generation have basically waved their white flag because they no longer, with rare exception, will defend the falsity of God. They want to just go, oh, we lack belief. Right? So, I mean, this is a tacit admission that their atheism has failed.
That doesn't mean that I believe that I have 100% proof that a God doesn't exist. And that's the way they always want to frame it. There is a default position. There is a burden of proof.
There's a default position? What is that? Could somebody tell me what the default position is on God? Could somebody tell me what that is? Bueller? Anybody here? Could somebody tell me what the default position is? Right?
From his point of view?
And unfortunately...
Go ahead.
He thinks there's no committal either way. That's not the biblical basis.
I mean, can you imagine how he would be stuttering and steam would be coming out of his ears if we had a solid biblical presuppositionalist sitting there instead of, some other schmuck sitting there with a dumb grin on his face, lapping up all of this ridiculous atheist pablum?
For everyone from every religion.
Dillahunty reminds me of, have you ever seen the Miser Brothers Christmas? He looks like one of the Miser Brothers. But anyway.
No. Can you post something in Atheist Helpline to give us a visual representation? Okay. No. Yeah, I mean, just look at this disingenuousness. Oh, I'm just unconvinced. Okay. Atheism is just non-theism. Really? Well, within atheism, you could say that there's theological non-cognitivism, verificationism. You could say there's what is classically known as agnosticism, or you could say what is classically known as atheism, the denial of God. Well, which one of those are you, Matt Dillabloviator?
That is advocating for the supernatural. They haven't even come close to attempting to meet their burden.
So do you see that this is what they do? Okay, they believe that there's no God, but they won't defend what they really believe. Okay, and this whole lacktheism stuff is a complete charade. Is there anyone in here who thinks it's not a charade? How about you, Boris? Do you think it's not a charade, this lacktheism? Okay? It's an absolute charade. Hey, Boris.
That would be cried out for a grave. You big softies.
So Boris, if somebody says they lack belief in God, right? All we have to do is ask them the question, do you believe that it is necessary to reference God as the necessary precondition? Okay? So Boris, how do you think Matt the Bloviator would answer if I said, do you believe that it is necessary to reference God as the necessary precondition of all facts? What do you think he would say, Boris?
Don't know.
Oh, so he would say yes? He believes that God is the necessary precondition of all facts? You think he would say that?
Of course he wouldn't.
Oh, okay. So the answer is then he would say, no, I don't believe it's necessary to reference God as the necessary precondition. Right? Because either he believes it or he doesn't. So since he doesn't believe it's necessary to reference God as the precondition, right? Excuse me, since he wouldn't affirm that it's necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts, then that means there's only one belief state that he could have, okay? Is that he doesn't believe that it's necessary to reference or invoke God as the necessary precondition. So then what that logically entails, Boris, is that Matt the Bloviator believes that facts can be invoked independently of the necessity of referencing God. Let me repeat that again. Matt the Bloviator believes that facts can be invoked independently of the necessity of referencing God. Now, I've made that very clear. Isn't that what he believes, Boris?
I think you'd question on what kind of God you're talking about.
No. That's another bait and switch here. This is classically what atheists do. We're talking about a minimalist definition of God, okay? Creator God, right? That what is fundamental to reality.
Well, is there some God he does believe facts necessitate referencing?
Yeah. The point is this. This is the little game that atheists like to play. They debate with which, like, which God? The point is this. What we're talking about is his atheism, right? We're not talking about a hypothetical person that they're talking to. Now, very simple. Does Matt Dillahunty, right, believe that facts can and are invoked without the necessity of dependence upon referencing God? Well, the answer is yes, he does.
Well, you'd have to, because otherwise he'd be a theist.
Right. So the point is, then that means that Matt Dillahunty believes, notice I use the word believe, not know, he believes that facts are independent of the necessity of referencing God. Now, I'm going to ask you a simple question, and please don't be sleazy and dodge it. Isn't it clear that Matt the Bloviator believes that facts are independent of the necessity of referencing God? He believes that, right, Boris? See, dead silence, because he knows what the truth is. And if Matt Dillahunty believes that there are facts that exist independently of the necessity of referencing God, then it follows from that God cannot logically coexist. Because God can only logically coexist in a world where all facts derive and are dependent upon him. So if you believe that there are facts that are independent of God, facts are independent of the necessity of referencing God, then it follows from that God doesn't logically coexist in that world. But Matt the Bloviator doesn't want to defend that position. He just wants to do this little verbal kabuki dance like he's fooling people out there, right? Madeline Murray O'Hare would slap him upside his head were she alive today, even though she got bullet holes in her.
Burden of proof. So I'm stuck.
And then you also talk about probability and likelihood. if the jar had half blue and half red gumballs, and you picked one in the dark, what is the probability that you would have a red gumball?
Right, 50%.
50%.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Okay. All of that reasoning by the atheists presuppose that there is something that is keeping other things regular, while other things are not regular. Right?
Yep.
Okay? Because you couldn't talk about what gumballs and jars are is if gumballs and jars, what they actually were ontologically, were changing. So they have to believe that there is something that is keeping some things regular while permitting other things not to be regular.
Yeah, like what would stop the gumballs from changing any color?
No, what would stop the gumballs not being gumballs? Okay? Right? So in other words, that there's a class of things called gumballs and jars. In order to intelligibly invoke that, it means that what gumballs are ontologically does not change. Okay? Right? So in order to talk about gumballs and jars, you have to believe that there is something fundamental that is keeping other things regular. Right? What's their proof of that? Have they demonstrated that there's something actually instituting and securing regularity, as opposed to they simply just believe it? You see, if we apply the same criterion of belief that they do to God, and we focus on what their fundamental parameters of existence are that is not God, and we apply their standard to what they inherently believe, what you just heard here, they will fold like a cheap lawn chair at a garage sale. That's why they insulate themselves like this.
You would have to say, I have a 50% confidence that this is red or blue. And yet believers don't talk in probability.
Why would you have confidence in anything in a world where nothing can be designated to be ultimate? Nothing can be designated and defended to be absolute. Why would you be confident of anything in a world where anything could happen at any time? Right? Could somebody explain that to me? In a not God world where what is fundamental and ultimate is unknown, it's inaccessible, it will never be accessible, and so you don't know what makes anything that's possible or impossible, why would you be confident in anything then in such a world? So the very idea of confidence in an atheist world is begging the question.
Probabilities, do they? They round it all the way up to 100% usually when they're making their case.
That is perfect. They are constantly rounding it up to 100%. Like if you and
you guys are constantly invoking concepts, both explicit but more usually implicit, that you cannot defend. That it doesn't even meet your own criterion of belief.
It's not
and
that
even some of them have called it.
It's not even their every concept they invoke. Everything they say is an assertion of fact. Almost every word you speak is.
Yeah.
Was it really gumballs they were talking about? Really? Are they sure? What gumballs? There's no gumballs? Really?
Could somebody please explain to me, how is confidence viable and meaningful in a world where anything can happen? If we're in a world that is not created and instituted by God and his absolute nature and his purpose for creation, then how could you have confidence in anything? Right? Why would you have confidence in anything?
Called in this show have flatly said there's nothing that will change their mind. There was a quote I read in somebody's book yesterday that if they read in the Bible that 2 + 2 = 5, they would believe it and pray and seek to understand it. And this rounding up to everything is absolute. Well, I'm not saying there's a 0% chance that a God exists. I'm saying the likelihood of a God existing is incalculable, unknown, and hasn't been supported or even argued that you could come close to saying it's 1%.
Wow.
If they did,
Even that's dishonest.
This is red meat for atheists out there. But from a philosophical point of view, it's worse than adolescent reasoning, right? I mean, it's really, really. I mean, I like to dump on Matt the Bloviator, but that is really, really pathetic. It's just rhetoric, okay? It's absolutely rhetoric.
if they did believe 2 + 2 = 5, you could make a profit off of that.
Well, wait a minute. Notice he said that they wouldn't believe it, but the point is 2 + 2 = 4? Is that unfalsifiable? Right? If your standard is falsifiability, that in order for something to be worthy of belief, it must be in principle falsifiable, then even believing that would violate your criterion of belief. Everybody see that? He's saying that there are certain beliefs that are irrevisable, that they have revisionary immunity, right? And you're making fun of Christians or theists believing in God, and we're ascribing to God revisionary immunity because God would be the ultimate truth from which all truth would derive and depend and provide coherence and intelligibility. But he wants revisionary immunity for 2 + 2 = 4. Right? Here's a guy who says all the time, he's not absolutely certain about anything. This is a guy who says we could be a brain in the vat. Yet he wants, revisionary immunity for 2 + 2 = 4. This guy's a clown.
For that, couldn't you? you could probably.
I hope one day. I don't imagine he would. I hope one day he just pops in while we're doing a review of one of his videos and say, "Hey, I'm here." Anybody think that'll happen? But I would love it if he did. What?
We could invite him.
He has been invited. He was invited to Modern Day Debate to do a dialogue and informal debate with me, and he refused.
Did not know
Right?
that.
He's also publicly called me out several times on his show. Okay, and he's publicly stated that I'm banned from calling in. Okay.
Wow.
20% profit or whatever that comes out to.
All right, I got to switch my headset. Give me a break. Give me a second.
One way.
Yes.
Oh man, one way. Dude, you got past the 3G. That's awesome.
No, I'm at home currently, so I'm
Oh,
like a broadband connection.
Nice.
I missed what you were saying to One Way.
Oh, he's on mic. It's the first time. 7 years.
What are you talking about? He's on mic all the time.
He was saying because I'm usually on my phone. I'm usually at 3G speed, so I don't even bother to talk. I just sound like a robot.
Yeah, you are coming in very clear.
But now that I'm at home, like on my broadband connection, it should be very clear.
I just want you to know, One Way, that you're in danger of being in here because we were told by an atheist female that I'm a cult leader. Right?
Okay.
Someone make them Christians by stealth. Oh, that's not what Van Til said.
I'm a cult leader.
Actually, do you want the timestamp where Cornelius Van Til said that in one of his lectures?
I thought he said he said you'll end up making them Christians by stealth. He said, but we want intellectually conscious Christians or something like that. Epistemologically self-conscious Christian.
Right.
I love that phrase, epistemological loafers.
Tribe leader. You could be tribe leader.
And you know what's funny is that some of these atheists are epistemological light in the loafers too.
Dan, I think you just
I think a lot of people didn't get the joke. Do you guys know what light in the loafers means?
No, I do.
Not exactly.
It means they're homosexual. Light in the loafers means you're a homo.
Sodomites.
And there I go again with my transphobic douche nozzleness.
Wow, you are permanently banned from the atheist experience.
Yes. Hey, do you remember when I made my announcement that I was a part of the LGBT community, but not that community?
Wait, no, I did not. Wait, what community was that?
I said that I was coming out of the closet and revealing that I'm a part of the LGBT community. Okay, but not the community that you normally think of. Okay, and hold on a second. It was the Elohim God believers Trinity questioning community. Okay. And they were really mad when I made that announcement on Modern Day Debate. Anyway, so we'll continue here with these clowns.
Aaron,
just gave me the motivation.
Just real quick, did you get the chance to see how I have it set up where people have to force roles yet?
No.
Okay. All right.
So when they join, they have to pick a role.
Yes, I got the server set up that way right now.
Awesome.
Sweet. Okay. Oh, and
I had to.
you know what? We need to a cowbell. We need to make it a rule that you can't lie about your tag about whether you're an atheist, a theist, a Christian or not. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't have atheists coming in here and taking a Christian tag.
Right.
Not that we want to persecute them if they want. If they want to come in with an atheist tag and not talk, that's fine.
Motivation for the next new trick in my act, because I've been wanting to do a short change routine on stage for ages, and I can use the 2 + 2 = 5 things to do that.
Well, we'll have to have you come back and do that show. I'd like to see some of your magic.
Well, Matt Dillahunty has said in the past that we shouldn't believe in things that are unfalsifiable. So, is 2 + 2 = 4? Is it does it have revisionary immunity or not? Because if it has revisionary immunity, then it's in principle unfalsifiable.
So I think we have time for a lightning round. If you're game for it,
yeah,
I'll ask you some quick questions and answer them in 30 seconds?
These are going to be toughies. Can you wait for it? These are going to be hard ones, aren't they? Here comes the lightning round. They're going to be tough.
Less or whatever you can do.
It's hard for me to ever do anything in 30 seconds or less. So this is going to be really fun because I think I can do it.
So how do you explain the appearance of design in nature? Isn't there a designer?
Well, the appearance of design doesn't necessarily mean design. So seeing localized order is expected. The wind can form sand dunes.
Why would you expect anything? Right? Did everybody hear that? It's expected. Hey, Boris, on what basis could Matt Dillahunty expect anything? You think he could answer that, Boris? Anybody want to take a stab at that? He says that certain things are expected, right?
It's just stardust.
No, he just said he has an expectation. In a chance world where God is not sovereign, and that he has implemented a creation and it's running again according to his purposes, and he has imposed fundamental parameters, we could see why you might have expectations that the future would be like the past. But in an atheist world, on what metaphysical basis could you expect anything to be in the future. Everybody see what the problem there is? If you have an expectation, it means that that the future will be like the past. But what would be fundamental in reality that would impose that? Now, do you think Dan Barker is going to give him that lightning round hard question? Or are we just going to have these cream puff questions? Oh, I think we know the answer to that.
Sand dunes, but it doesn't mean the wind intended to form a sand dune. And so we live in the environment that allows us to live, and that requires that there be some order. And our pattern-seeking brains sometimes label
our pattern-seeking brains, yeah. What imposes this regularity? See, what they're doing is they're borrowing from the Christian worldview that we have an ordered universe, that there is the principle of continuity along with the principle of discontinuity. And, you know, in the Christian worldview, we have this order, regularity. But then they want to do is they want to surgically remove God, and then they want to keep the Christian worldview. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. You're going to have to start from scratch. Okay? You're going to have to explain whatever implicit fundamentals are inherent in what you're saying. But does anybody think that they'll do that? No, he won't.
Label that order as design.
So we live in a universe. What started it all? How did it get here?
I have no idea. And as far as I can tell, neither does anybody else.
Okay, and nobody knows. Okay, so the biblical record is therefore he rejects it. Therefore, it's false. But how could you falsify the Christian worldview unless you don't know what your own model of reality is? He doesn't know what the ultimate nature of reality is. He doesn't know where we came from, and he doesn't know what's fundamental now. Does everybody see what a train wreck of a philosopher he is? He's an absolute train wreck. He's sitting there with a blank-eating grin on his face, says nobody knows. Well, if you don't know what is metaphysically primary, both chronologically and contemporarily, then how can you say what is, or have any expectation of what will be? You see how these people are walking, talking contradictions?
So, aren't you really an atheist because you're rejecting moral authority? Don't you really want to be free to sin?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And your sarcasm over that point in no way diminishes that. And the reason why we conclude that is because either you're going to have a rational basis, a rational justification of why you believe that facts are independent of the necessity of reference in God, or your disbelief is arbitrary, or it's the case that you are holding to this not God position because you have a guilty conscience. Now, does anybody think that Matt de la Bloviator right now is going to say that he has a rational basis to believe why facts are independent of the necessity of referencing God? Does anybody believe that right now? Do you think you don't hold your breath?
Yes. Actually, no, that's not the reason that I am an atheist now, but there would be nothing wrong with a yes answer. I actually did a video on this a couple of years ago because I used to avoid the yes answer. I used to tell atheists, no, if somebody says you just want to sin, you better have a really good explanation. And then I realized I was wrong, because if they say y'all just want to sin, it's perfectly acceptable to say, yeah, I do, because the things that you call sin, the things that your religion labels sin, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with sex, with divorce, with, alcohol and drugs in moderation and those things.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with people getting stoned. I don't have a problem with people getting drunk. Moderation. Yeah. Remember Brojo was told by Matt Dillahunty, there's nothing wrong in having any thoughts in your head as long as you don't act upon it. So if you fantasize being a serial killer, There's nothing wrong with that as far as Matt Dillabloviator is concerned. He told Projo, as long as you don't act on it, those thoughts are okay. This is what a deranged individual we're dealing with.
Your simplistic morality and your concept of sin is something that I actively reject, and I think that's good enough reason to not believe in your God.
We have about 40 seconds. What if I told you that I have personally met God? I have a personal experience, and I know he's real.
I'm happy to believe that you are honestly explaining an experience. I just can't accept your explanation for it. Like when someone tells me they're abducted by aliens, I'm willing to believe they've experienced something. I just don't think their explanation for what it is the right one. There's a little more work to be done.
Well, thank you, Matt. It's really been fun having you.
Oh, it's been so fun. Has everyone had fun in here? Wasn't that fun to have Matt Dillabloviator, bloviate? Did everybody have fun? Come on, don't everyone be quiet. Did everybody have fun? Brojo, did you have fun? Matt, Yester, is Matt still here? No, Matt went to bed. Okay, Parakeet's not here. Everybody must be falling asleep. I had fun. How about you? That was just so much fun.
On the show today, Matt
Thanks.
Dillahunty, debater.
Thank you. Anytime.
Debater, talk show host. So how can people see it? What's the Hang Up? Is the new show?
The Hang Up is the new show on the network Jimmy Snow put together called The Line, but they can just Google Matt Dillahunty, Hang Up, Matt Dillahunty, Atheist Experience. Probably just my name will get you into everything.
Well, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, just Google Matt Dillabloviator.
And thank you for watching Free Thought Matters, because free thought matters.
What a narcissist.
Oh, gosh. Free thought matters. Free thought matters. Well, these guys are imbeciles. Absolute imbeciles. Oh, gosh. Where do they grow these people?
It kind of sounds like the doctrine of Luciferianism, where the do as thou wilt, kind of thing. Just they remove God.
Anyway, I'm going to go to bed. Hope I don't have any nightmares of Matt Dillabloviator. Good night, my fellow cultists.
Good night.
He just doesn't want to throw out his box of pornos.
Whatever the case is, he's going to relentlessly make himself and delude himself into believing it until he dies or until Jesus comes back himself. And then whichever one comes first is going to be too late.
And Satan said, "You will become gods." It's kind of like Luciferianism, almost atheism.
I mean, the more these people speak and the more they try to distance themselves from religion and church and sound like a cult, the more they impugn themselves with the exact opposite effect. And these people literally do every single thing that they accuse people who adopt a religion do, except they take a personal deity or something like that out of the question. Everything else is exactly the same.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, these people are a bunch of morons. Can't take these guys seriously whatsoever.
I've heard a atheist family member of mine tell me how dumb the whole belief structure I have is, and then at the end of the conversation, them telling me they are from Stardust.
Stardust. Okay.
Yeah, Stardust, and that's more believable than a creation story. That I guess. He's like, we're Stardust. We're Stardust.
They probably got that little dumb line from Neil deGrasse Tyson, or I call him
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Nihilio. I call him Nihilio deGrasse Pompous Groper Tyson. And he was asked about that very thing, and he just says it with just a confidence, with just a touch of sprinkling of a little wisdom. The way he just said it, just like it just rings off the ears as just pure focal wisdom. You know what? We are truly Stardust.
Yeah. That's how he would say it. Yeah. That guy's just a monster.
Yeah, these people are just out of their ever loving minds, and of course, he tries to swing in the middle of being an agnostic because he's not going to come out as an outright atheist, because I think it has a lot to do with the fact that being an atheist doesn't allow you to sell as many books, and you don't seem quite as palatable and marketable. If you're just making it seem like you just sort of swim right in the middle, you could sell a lot more books that way. Though, where it
Yeah,
seems
that
like, well,
that sounds right. Yeah.
I'm not quite a believer, but I'm just sort of searching for the truth. I'm in the middle, and that's Nihilo deGrasse Pompous Groper Tyson. Too coward to take a position against the existence of God, because um, what does that look like in terms of a career? It's not very profitable. You might be um, somewhat popular like Matt Dillahunty, but that doesn't mean you have anywhere near the same kind of notoriety as someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, Matt Dillahunty is popular, but he ain't. I can almost guarantee that he is nowhere near as profitable and as popular as Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, not a
That's
chance.
because
Not a chance.
Dillahunty's not educated, where Neil deGrasse Tyson is.
Well, I don't think it would matter much if he was educated, because I just think he just lacks a particular level of how can I put this? I think he's just not very charismatic. And I just don't think he would be I just don't think he has the intelligence to sell his atheism on that level.
I think Neil is more evil too, so he can lie and be like just an insane person.
Well, when you can be subtle about it, there's definitely potentially more damage you can do, because there's a thing.
Why do you think he's
If
evil?
people know what your cards are, they can know how to defend against them. If they don't know what cards you're holding, then you are at a considerable greater advantage. And I think that's similar to how Neil deGrasse Tyson operates, because if he's not showing his cards um, and he can sort of come in on a Trojan horse, he can do a lot of damage potentially that a lot of people won't see coming.
He just doesn't debate philosophy because he doesn't go by philosophy alone.
Isn't he a spokesman for like outer space push, outer space tax?
He's a science educator.
You know, you keep saying this crap over and over again. One doesn't, one shouldn't go by philosophy alone. I don't even know what the heck that means. Or, yeah, just to take a page out of your book, since you pretend like you don't know what God means, I don't even know what that means. I just don't understand what the heck you're talking about.
Well, you guys rely on metaphysics only, not anything else. I don't. I need more than philosophical arguments to believe in something.
Okay, where have you ever found in here that it's metaphysics only? Where have we ever said that?
Well, it seems that way.
No, point where we've said that. Or are
Well,
you just
not just
talking out? Oh,
metaphysics.
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a
Philosophy
minute,
alone.
sir. Wait, hold on. Point to where we said that, or are you just talking out of your ass?
Is
I'm
Boris
just.
frying some bacon? You got some bacon frying in the background?
Sorry, no, I'm making actually a burger, but that's fine. Yeah,
So
I
do
am
you
frying.
actually
I am
have
frying
some evidence for that, or are you just talking out your backside?
No, from my observation, that it seems the argument is
Okay, you
philosophical
said it seems
arguments
like
only.
it.
Yeah,
You
that's
said it
right.
seems like it, so you could be wrong then.
Oh yeah, I can. I could easily
So
be
you're
wrong.
looking for of an evidential kind of evidence. What kind of
Oh,
evidence are you
okay.
talking
No, no,
about?
no. Hold on a second. So when you say it seems like, you don't actually have any definitive evidence to that. You're just sort of speculating and thinking, oh, certain things sound certain types of ways, and then you extrapolate from that. That must be what they're talking about. It's only about metaphysics. But you don't
So
actually have any evidence to back that up. You just
no.
got your
It's
assertion.
philosophy in general. It's mostly about philosophy, and there's very little real evidence in here.
Real what? Sorry.
Okay, hold on. You said
Demonstrable
wait.
anything.
No. First, you didn't even
Empirical
you didn't deal with your
physics.
first claim. You didn't deal with your first claim. Was that the only thing you hear in here
Well,
is
so hey, hang
metaphysics?
on, Tonalak. Don't
No,
no
no, sir. No, sir. You will back that claim up, or I'll
One at a
just
time.
boot
One at
your
a
ass out of
time.
here.
No. I concede that because I said it wrong. Okay, there you go. Are you happy now?
Okay, so now that we dealt with that, what is your next claim? You said there's very little evidence in here, or very little real evidence in here. So define real evidence for us, please.
Something that can be demonstrable to anyone through testing and the scientific method.
Is that empirical?
Sure.
Okay, can you empirically test that 5 minutes ago happened?
Yeah, I mean, someone recorded it. Sure.
How do you know? Well, first of all, how do you know someone recorded it?
I
And
said
second of
if.
all,
Oh, is Supreme Leader in here?
second of all, that still doesn't answer the question. That just kicks the can down the road, because that recording doesn't even mean that it was 5 minutes ago. Whatever recording you find is not necessarily 5 minutes old. For all you know, it could be a recording that was 2 minutes ago, stipulating that
Sure.
something 5 minutes ago occurred.
Sure.
So can you empirically prove to me that 5 minutes ago occurred?
Yes and no.
What do you
Not in the
mean
court of
yes and
law.
no? Either you can or you can't, sir.
Well, I
Empirically.
can't empirically. If someone recorded it and it has a timestamp, yeah, sure.
I just told you that that recording doesn't mean it's in relation to something that happened 5 minutes ago. How do you know that that recording didn't spontaneously surface?
I don't know. I'm just saying if. Did you not hear that word?